Hi everybody, today we're doing a voiceover because my computer is dying, dead. I'm starting off with the bow for this wreath and I'm going to show you up top where I made the base because you've seen it 1,000 times, so we really need to see it again. It's a full roll of the white and natural mesh on the base. On top of that is a natural and metallic brown, and then it's mixed with a natural and metallic champagne kinda. In my bow, I am using a velvet ribbon, an orange, a green, both from Dollar Tree. The velvet's from Craft Outlet, and there's a yellow mustardy kind of color from Hobby Lobby in 1.5 inch. I'm making a 3-loop bow, and I haven't liked the way they've been coming out because the tails kind of always go to one side because you're finishing in the same side you started. So I've been cutting my tails beforehand and just putting them in there, and then when I'm ready to stop, I just cut it off, make sure there's enough for the wire to catch. So your loops and your tails are independent of each other. And that one was at 6.5 inch, and the orange and the green are both going to be at 6 inch, and the yellow ends up being at like 5.5, I think. So yeah, a little about this wreath, or wreaths, because I made 2 of them. They're for a friend of mine's sister. She just moved into a new house, or she's about to move into a new house, and she's got these huge double doors, and my friend Jenny wanted to give her wreaths as a housewarming present, and she gave me a very nice budget to work with, which is always preferable to, you know, me not having any money to do anything. So they're a bit involved. I mean, you've seen the picture, but I didn't go like all out. Like, this is Dollar Tree ribbon that I'm using right now that's orange and it's green, and it's super nice. I don't know why they can't make all the ribbon like this, but whatever. And at some point I'm gonna realize, oh yeah, here it is, that I forgot to put my tails in. So I'm gonna put my green tail. The tails are cut at 16 inches, so it's, the biggest loops are 6.5, the tails are 8 inches. So those are going in there, and then I'm just gonna do my yellow at 5.5. And these bows don't have any pattern, they're just solid. I just kind of wanted it like that, not sure why. And I'm moving things around, and of course I'm going to try to use wire to do this, and then the wire's not going to be tight enough and I'm going to have to use a cable tie anyway. But you know, this is a pre-cut 18-inch piece of 22 gauge wire. I don't know why this never works. It always snaps. I think I'm just trying to get it too tight. Like, I break the wire every time. So I'm holding it, twisting the bow and not the wire, and I'm just like, nope. I left the wire on it to attach it to the wreath, but I'm putting in a cable tie just for, you know, added security. And if I'm charging people, you know, upwards of $100 per wreath, I definitely want to make sure everything is secure and nothing is going to fall apart. So there is a long version of this video coming tomorrow that has full commentary. I'm talking the whole time, I'm telling stories, I'm letting you know exactly what I'm doing in much more detail. It's pretty much the wreaths from start to finish. I only do one on camera because doing the second one was hard enough because I was mirroring it. You know, I wasn't making an exact copy, like it was mirrored. So, yeah. And I tried to do a transition there. It didn't work. If you want to see how it didn't work and everything, check the long version. This is a Dollar Tree wreath that I smushed and smashed and squeezed and pulled into an oval. It ended up not really making a difference. It looks a little taller than it is wider, which is what I wanted. Taller than it is wide, but I just wanted something different. This is a pumpkin from Hobby Lobby. I had a bigger one. My mom said that's too big. I got this one. This one is too small, I think, initially. Like right now, as I'm making this, I'm like, that's too small. And then these 2 smaller ones are also from Hobby Lobby. And then my florals are going to go all the way around it. And I have some ribbon tails cut, so I wanted to cover about like 2/3 of the mesh with florals, the bow, the pumpkin. The bow's going on the bottom right now. It does not stay on there because it was like facing down. The pumpkin was in the way. I couldn't get it to stand out, so I ended up moving it. You can't really see, but I'm using a needle right now to get through the mesh because there's a lot of mesh to pull my pipe cleaner wire, whatever's on this one. So I can get that where I want it, pick my pumpkin up from the floor, and try to figure out where I want that. And I am poking some holes with my needle because this pumpkin's not heavy, but again, I want you to get what you're paying for, so I am going to wire it in. I don't know if I add glue to it, but what I'm doing is just putting some glue on the wires and pushing them in the bottom in like a triangle formation, because 2 are going to go right against the bow and 1's going to go against the inside ring of the wreath. Which, if you want to know the whole explanation of that, you can watch the long video tomorrow. It's actually really funny because I'm so stressed out and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about killer robots. Was that this? I don't even know. I've had a lot of stuff going on, and this computer is just, it's like barely alive. Like, if it makes it through the day, I'm just gonna like be so surprised. So now I'm wiring this on. I used cloth covered, I think maybe like 18 gauge or 20 gauge wire. So it is on there really well. So see, I know the bow's not working at this point, but I'm like, no, it's gonna be fine. It's not gonna be fine, y'all. Not this pumpkin, the next pumpkin, that one. So pretty. It's got like green and like a rusty orange. I really like that one. I wish they would have had it in a bigger size. So that one's going like on top of the bow, and the other one's gonna go like opposite that on the other side, but kind of pointing down a little bit, because I wanted this to have like a cornucopia, horn of plenty look, and it has plenty on it. All right, so those are just glued in, and I'm fine with that because they're not super heavy. I just made sure that I put enough glue on the bottom of the pumpkin and on the stem, so it's touching a lot of Deco mesh. And this is a grapevine ball from Dollar Tree that I'm just gluing in the center because I like to make sure my loops stay where they are. I don't know what that was. I don't know what I'm talking about here either. Oh, I'm showing you like this is where everything's gonna go. So now I am taking my ribbon tails. I just cut up some of the leftover ribbon I had. I didn't want to do ribbon tails all over because it's not that kind of wreath. And I'm tired of the ribbon tails like taking over a wreath completely where you can't see anything. So I am just bringing these in to bring the colors of the bow a little further out. And every time I've done something, like there's 2 sunflowers there. There's also 2 sunflowers on the side in another bin that are going to be for the other wreath. So there's ribbon tails somewhere else that are going to be for the other wreath. And there's pumpkins, and there's a bow for the other wreath. So that's how I was trying to kind of make sure things were going to be evenly dispersed across the 2 wreaths, because there was no way I was going to, just magically make these wreaths look exactly the same. And I don't think I wanted that either. Like, I wanted them to be matching, but not like you bought 2 of them at the store. And let me tell y'all, the hardest thing about this was figuring out how to get the pumpkins in there, like how to mirror what I was doing, because I started the second wreath with this one hanging next to me, but it was like on the side of me, so I had to keep turning and then holding the second wreath up to see where the stuff would go. It was a whole thing. The second wreath didn't take as long as the first one, obviously, because I was just like, all right, stick. But having to move everything around took so long. I was like, all right, no, the bow's not where it's supposed to be, and still the bows are like not perfect. The bows are like the thing that bothered me the most, but my mom eventually said, stop touching it. Like, just stop. I mean, I worked on these wreaths like every day for, I don't know, maybe a week after they were done. Just being like, oh, well, it needs one more leaf up here, or I need something over here, or the bow needs to go this way, or whatever. So hopefully, if you attempt to do a double door wreath, or if you have to do one at some point in your life, make sure that the wreath is hanging in front of you and not to the side, because it's going to be a lot easier. What else is going to be a lot easier is that I eventually discovered that I can take one of those Dollar Tree vases that's full of, I think it's full of zip ties or something, and I can like elevate the wreath some so it's facing me more, and I think you guys can see it better. So these are my Hobby Lobby flowers. I went to Hobby Lobby to buy florals, and then I was like, okay, well, if I buy the florals I want, then I'm gonna lose like $40 on each wreath I make. So I just got these as like kind of accents, just plop them in there. Everything else is from Dollar Tree, Walmart, I think just Dollar Tree and Walmart. So like if there's 6 flowers in a bundle, I'm making sure 3 go on each side. If there's 5, I'm making sure 2 go on the bottom left, like where you can see my stand. I'm pointing at it on the screen as I'm watching the video. And the other ones go up the other side, because that's the kind of angle I had where it was above the nice pumpkin that I really like. This side, that I was going to put more flowers over here. So most of the time there were 6 flowers. When there were 5, I just put 3 on the long side. Look, now I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Changes everything. Changes the game. So yeah, see, on this side there's 2 on the left and there's 3 on the right. And now I'm going in with my hydrangeas. I really wanted to buy some of these from Hobby Lobby, but I mean, it was 40% off, and I was still like, how do people make a profit when they're making wreaths using Hobby Lobby stuff? I don't understand it. I know a lot of people are just like I see, I've distributed the flowers, like there's some on the left, there's some on the right. I don't know why people are just like, oh, it's got Dollar Tree stuff, and I'm like, what's wrong with it? I mean, some of the stuff does fall apart easier than something from like Michael's would, but I have to weigh like a cost-benefit analysis here, and saying like you having nicer hydrangeas is not worth you paying 8 times more, 10 times more, 12 times more. And I think Dollar Tree and Walmart, I think everybody does really nice fall florals. Like, I'm not so much into like Dollar Tree spring and summer stuff, but like their fall stuff is always really nice. And I think it's just the colors. I think it's that, like, you know, I don't know what it is. It's just these deeper colors, these less bright colors tend to look more realistic, I guess. So I put in my hydrangeas. These are some mums. And how many are these? Let's see. I think I'm going to separate them again because I was doing that a lot. Maybe not. These are some mums in kind of a reddish color to pick up the red rusty color in the smaller pumpkin that's on the right hand of the screen next to those pink peonies. Which, if you're thinking, why does he have pink peonies out for this wreath? And I'm going to say, calm down, Karen. So I am going to put these in here because I like a little bit of, not so much unexpected, because it's not like, oh my god, he put pink in there with all these autumnal colors. It's just, I want a little pop of something. I want something that, you know, automatically doesn't look like it absolutely goes. But yeah, I am really packing these in pretty closely. There's 3 on one side and, oh, there's 3 on the other side too. Cool. As you can see, I'm leaving that upper right-hand corner kind of empty. That's where the bow eventually goes, if you're wondering. But my plan was to have it be, you know, like 2/3 of the wreath done, and then just deco mesh at the top. But I like the way it came out better. I think I was just going to do deco mesh and leaves, like no florals. Alright, what's next? Leaves and more. What are these? Oh, I have some, these are the mini pomegranates from Dollar Tree. Always check when you buy these because they're always missing like a whole stem. Aggravating. So as you can see, as I'm adding more stuff, that bow is just like trying to jump off the edge of the table. And I tried so much not to move it because underneath it, there's nothing. It's just deco mesh. And I was like, how am I going to fill this in evenly? Because I moved the bow after both of the wreaths were made. So I had to go back and I just, you know, I threw some extra flowers in there and some leaves, and you'll see in the pictures they look fantastic. So these are some more mums in a brighter yellow, a brighter orange. Sorry, I'm starving. And that one I stuck in the side of the pumpkin because I wanted it to stand up a little bit more. I think I do it one more time, like on the top of the pumpkin, just because I wanted, like, I'm mostly looking for an even distribution of color and texture. And these, oh, I don't know what they're calling these. Dahlias? Is it dahlias? I don't know. But I'm putting these in, making sure my sides are getting something. Because I tend to forget the sides, and like I'm done with the wreath and I'm like, there's nothing on the side of this wreath. What happens if somebody looks sideways at it? And now I am cutting up my leaves. I prefer the leaves from Walmart. They have some nice veining on them. They're a little bit stiffer. It's just, that's my preference. I do end up going back later when I had to move everything around and filling in with like some Dollar Tree leaves I had from a couple years ago, and you can't tell the difference, but I mean they're the same price, so you might as well. Well, actually the Walmart ones are cheaper. Now I'm cutting off my pipe cleaners because this is where I'm going to be adding the leaves from. So this is kind of how the wreath was supposed to look. Just the pumpkin, the bow, florals around the pumpkins, and then just leaves through the deco mesh. But, you know. And then these are, I was like back and forth with this. I was like, do I want that because it's bright? And then I was like, yeah, the same reason I want the pink, because it's going to give me a little pop. It's going to give me a little something. It's going to lighten this up a little bit, because even though there's a bunch of different colors, it does look a little, I don't want to say monotone, but you know, like they're all the same kind of muted shades of yellows and oranges and reds. So I wanted something that had some pop in it. Had some pop in it. Had a pop to it. And these were from Walmart. I think they have those year round. They're really nice. It's like $4 for that huge bush. And now I am taking my second bundle of leaves here. And I'm just gonna fill in anywhere where I'm missing something. And I can't tell you how to, like, I can tell you why I did things, but I can't tell you, like, how to do them, because that's personal preference. Like, this is just how I saw it in my head, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to add stuff until it looks like it does in my head. And in my head, the bow was, you know, where it is now. It just looked a lot better, but yeah. So I think that's it. I'm going to fluff up that bow, even though I'm going to move it later. Yeah, and it looks pretty good. I'm gonna trim up my ribbon tails. That Dollar Tree ribbon, I had the Hobby Lobby ribbon fraying, and I had to like go through and, like, you know, cut it a couple times to get it nice. That Dollar Tree ribbon, so nice this year. If you need one of those, make sure they're the ones that don't have the metallic edging on them, because those are crap. But this is like almost a nice canvas ribbon. So yeah, see, you can't really tell it's oval, but it's oval. Oh my god, how long am I going to mess with it? It's done. Step away. It's done. Okay. So these are both of the wreaths up and looking pretty. They match. I ended up adding some more, I think it's the one on the left hand. I ended up adding some more florals at the top because there was too much deco mesh showing. And there's the close-ups of the pumpkins. I love that top pumpkin. And then over here. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. The long version is coming tomorrow at 7. I hope to see you there. Bye, guys.